All right, we're gonna get started. We're gonna talk about fats today, cooking oils, and just different facts around fats. Let's say that 10 times fast. So we're gonna jump into that. I cannot believe that we're in the last 2 days. So today's day 13, tomorrow's the last day. So let's finish strong. I see those posts still coming in. I'm gonna respond to those and check those out when I get off of the live. I'm excited to look at the ones that came in since yesterday. And I know that things get quieter on the weekends, but we got 2 more days, you guys. I'm gonna pick the winner tomorrow night, so you guys have until late tomorrow to get those posts in, and I'll be picking week 2 winner, and they're gonna get a gift card to Thrive or Amazon, their choice. And the grand prize winner, the person who's been participating the most with awesome insights, awesome encouragement of others, liking and commenting, and just being all around super supportive, they're gonna win a 1-month free access to the Magic Makers Movement Club. So I just sent out an email a little while ago that will give you more details about that. You can go to my website and get more details about that. And at the end of today, I'm going to go through and do a little behind the scenes. Hopefully you guys will be able to see it. I'm going to use my camera to show you on my computer a little behind the scenes of the Magic Makers Movement, because I was realizing I haven't been really just laying it out on the table what it is. And so in case you're curious what it actually is, what you get included, and how it's organized, I'm going to show you a little behind the scenes of that at the end of this training. So now we're going to jump into fat facts and what cooking oils that I recommend to use and why. Let me grab some water. Sorry, I was running around trying to get that internet fixed. I got a little bit chaotic there for a second. So one thing I'm going to post to when I'm finished is a link to a blog that I wrote last year that has some really good information, I think, about how to use fat in your diet. Because I think a lot of times we maybe have been told by media and by nutrition professionals that, and hopefully the stigma has been wearing off and is not so prevalent anymore, but that how fat there's a lot of stigma around it and how we need to minimize it because it's so calorically dense. Yes, it is calorically dense. Fat as the highest calorie per gram of the macronutrients. So again, we have carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. Carbohydrates and proteins have 4 calories, per gram, whereas fat has 9 calories per gram. So yes, per gram, per weight, you're gonna get more calories for fat. So a little goes a long way, but that's not to say that you shouldn't include them. And actually, I'm gonna encourage you to be really strategic with using fats. So there's 3 things I think to keep in mind, and I want to kind of go over those now, and then we're going to go into specific ones to use and when to use what. So 3 strategic ways to make the most of your fat, because fat makes food taste good. There's just that's the fact. That's the fact number 1, is that fat makes food taste good, not only in the flavor, but in the feel of it. It changes the mouth feel. When I did food labs in college for my dietetics program and in my internship, we had to actually, do recipe testing, all this stuff, but fat actually improves the texture of the food, the feel of it in your mouth. So there's a reason why we love ice cream, regular ice cream, or why we love mousse or really rich things, is because they have a lot of fat in it, and usually sugar too. But like I said, the other second fact is that fat is calorically dense. So how do we incorporate it so that we get that satisfaction boost up, so that score can be high on our meals, the satisfaction score can be a 10, without breaking the bank calorically? And so I want to encourage you to make space for fat. That's the number 1 thing that we're going to do. Because I think it's important to get healthy fats in your diet, not only for that satisfaction boost, but also because of the important nutrients that they provide and the role that they play in our health. They're essential. We have to have fats in our diet in order for our hormone production. That's how our hormones are transported and created. So we need healthy fats in our diet in order to have our healthy healthy balance of hormones. If you want more information on that, I would encourage you guys to check out Stephanie Kleinberg. She's the expert on women's hormone health, and she is the one who actually really has encouraged me over the last 4 years to start to incorporate more healthy fats in my diet. So definitely check out Stephanie if you want some more information on healthy hormones for women and all that, and more of the science behind it. But number 1 tip is to make space for the fat in your diet. And how do I recommend do that? I recommend actually getting rid of some of the junk. So getting rid of some of the highly processed carbohydrates is the number 1 thing. So trying to get rid of processed foods and snack foods like crackers, cookies, Halloween candy. I know it's nice to have a few of those treats after the holiday, but to just realize that they can take up a lot of a space in our diet. And try and shift those away so that we incorporate some more of the healthier fats so that we can make space for them. Some other things to think about, and think about it as a strategy of helping you stay on track with eating well. So like I said, a little goes a long way. Using that healthy fat in your diet can help to make you feel like you're really enjoying the food. So think about that sort of stomach satisfying. We talked about those two different types of satisfaction scores. So the stomach satisfying is going to hit your nutrition markers. It's going to give you the calories you need, the nutrients that you need. It's going to give you fiber, it's going to give you protein, but it might not taste so great. And that's where the soul satisfaction comes in. And soul satisfaction, for me, one of the number one ways to get that score up is with fats. But to make space for that, you kind of have to do some trading off. And for me, the number one thing that I like to try and minimize are refined carbohydrates. So white breads, white pastas, moving those out, minimizing them, maybe decreasing the portion size of those so that you have more space for the healthy fats and that higher satisfaction score. So thinking of maybe that stomach satisfying meal of like my classic is chicken breast with steamed broccoli with quinoa. So we can put some pesto on the quinoa, which is going to be having healthy fats from olive oil and pine nuts. And I make my pesto without cheese, so you wouldn't have that fat from the cheese. But having that on your quinoa would definitely increase the satisfaction, for me at least, of that, and give you some healthy fats. And maybe I usually will even put a little bit of olive oil on my broccoli or grass-fed butter, and then put some nutritional yeast on top of that to get it a nice cheesy broccoli. So those are some ways that you can kind of boost that satisfaction score of that more stomach satisfying meal to make it a soul satisfying meal using healthy fats. And on the blog I'm going to share, I have some more tips on how to actually kind of create more space calorically in your diet for including healthy fats. And then the second tip is to know which fats to use when. So now I'm going to get in a little bit into the types of fats and when to use different types of cooking oils. And I want to just go over real quickly that, as with everything in nutrition, there are trends, there's some misinformation, and there's always evolving science. And there's also just the fact that it takes a long time to do quality nutrition studies. So there could be science that's emerging, that's not published yet, but that they're starting to do more research on. For instance, coconut oil is a huge one right now that they're studying more of because it's become more popular and they're starting to fund studies for it. But that science isn't published yet. So just keep that in mind when you're just thinking about nutrition and nutrition studies and the information that you might hear from the American Heart Association or other organizations. They're kind of behind in a way because they are super set on, and I understand why, because they're national or international organizations that require that they abide by scientifically backed studies, like randomized control trials, that take tons of time. And so they might be a little behind the times on things. So I kind of, I kind of bash on the American Heart Association a lot. But you also have to keep in mind that sort of the restrictions of those large organizations, their kind of hands are tied in a way. So I feel like their recommendations aren't always the most accurate. They're still recommending things like canola oil and other vegetable oils that I would prefer to minimize in my diet and would recommend my clients to minimize as well. Excuse me. So we're going to put in any questions, you guys, in the comments. And again, like I said, on my phone, they don't necessarily show up. So I'm going to pull them up on my computer, on the Facebook page, to read them and answer them. So I'm going to answer questions at the end, but I will get to them. So please put any questions you have in. So knowing which fats to use when. And I generally categorize fats into two kind of main categories. And one being cooking fats, so things that you're going to use with heat, and then cold fats, things you're going to add after you've cooked things or things to salad that aren't going to go under high heat. So, and I have two different categories for that. The first one we're going to talk about is cooking fats, so things that are going to be exposed to high heat. So things that you're going to roast with or saute or stir fry, pan fry, those kinds of things that are going to be exposed to higher heats. And what you're looking for with those is to think about what we're trying to avoid or trying to minimize is oxidation. And oxidation, I don't want to get too much into the science and kind of lose you guys, but I'm going to say a couple of things. Oxidation happens when the fat is exposed to heat and get oxidized with air. Air's oxidation, it happens when exposed to air. And so that can happen too when the oils are exposed to light. That's usually why they're usually kind of darker colored bottles or in tins. If you have an oil that's not in a darker bottle or tin, you can wrap it in foil if it's going to be on your counter so that it's not exposed to light. Or you can put it in your cabinet so it's not exposed to light. So keep it in a cool, not right next to your oven, ideally, cooler place in a cupboard, or somehow expose it, keep it from being exposed to light. So these are things that can cause oxidation as well as heat. And I'm trying to keep it simple. So thinking about too, the structure of fats. And when fats have like different saturated fats and monounsaturated fats and polyunsaturated fats are the different types of fats. For instance, coconut oil has a lot of saturated fat in it. It's the highest percentage of its fat is made up of saturated fat. And then olive oil, for instance, is mostly a monounsaturated fat. It has a tiny bit of saturated fat and a little bit of polyunsaturated fat, but not a whole lot. And then an instance of a polyunsaturated fat, high percentage, is something like grapeseed oil. We were talking about that on, I think Becky's post was asking about grapeseed oil and whether to use that. So we have saturated fats. Coconut's a really good example of being primarily saturated fat. Monounsaturated fats, oils are things like olive oil. And then polyunsaturated fats are ones with the highest percentage are things like grapeseed oil, just to give you some examples. And so when you have more, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, but when that bond, when there's multiple bonds between the molecules, saturated fat just has one bond. When it has multiple bonds, monounsaturated fat has just, two, I think, and then polyunsaturated has more bonds on it. So when it has more bonds and it's exposed to heat, it can oxidize a lot more easily. And that oxidization causes free radicals. So free radicals are things that are connected to inflammation, things like cancer, your risk of, maybe your genetic predisposition being kind of turned on for certain genetic diseases like diabetes, anything that's kind of triggered by inflammation. So that's why we want to try and stick, and they encourage, and I'm going to encourage you guys to stick with more of the saturated fats for cooking, or the monounsaturated fats for cooking, rather than using some of what the media or like some of the in the past nutrition professionals have been recommending, things like canola oil, soybeans, safflower, grapeseed. Those have a high percentage of polyunsaturated fats. Another reason why I would encourage you not to use a whole lot of those is they have a really high ratio of omega-6 fatty acids to omega-3s. And overall in our diet, we want to try and have that ratio to try and be like 3-to-1, where there's omega-6 to omega-3s, or as close as we can to 1-to-1. But right now in our diets, it's hugely disproportionate for omega-6 fatty acids. It's the predominant type of fat that you're going to find in any kind of packaged food, like chips, cookies, crackers, anything that, if you look at it, usually has sunflower oil, soybean oil, canola. Those are very, very common in the Western diet. So our intake, we're already getting a lot of omega-6 fatty acids, and usually not very much omega-3 fatty acids from things like fatty fish, from grass-fed poultry and eggs and butter, and from things like fish oil, all that kind of stuff, and flaxseed oil is another good one, and walnuts. We don't get a whole lot of those in our diet, so that proportion, that ratio is really far off already. So we have more omega-6s, which cause more inflammation in the body, and the omega-3s help moderate that inflammation. So we want to try and get that ratio, again, 3-to-1 to, if we can, closer to 1-to-1. So another rationale for not using so much of the soybean, grapeseed, and those higher omega-6 fatty acid oils are to not cause more of that disparity. We want to try and bring them closer together rather than bring it farther apart. So things like olive oil are great. Adding flaxseed oil to your salads are also a good option. Incorporating as a supplement fish oil can be nice. Using fish in your diet and using flaxseed meal, chia seeds, walnuts are also great ways to get in more omega-3s, and grass-fed sources of butter and dairy and poultry. and meat, sorry, as well. not poultry, I'm sorry, grass-fed beef. So we want to try and minimize that ratio and bring them closer together rather than add in more omega-6 to our diet. So, cooking, what do we use for cooking? What do I use? I use coconut oil. If I'm going to do things on higher heat, I will usually use coconut oil, ghee, which is clarified butter, olive oil, or avocado oil. Those are my kind of go-tos for cooking. Then we have what are the cold fats, and those are things that you add and you don't cook with. So those are things like also olive oil I'll add to things after I've cooked them, butter, so not clarified butter, but regular butter, grass-fed if I can get it. Ghee is for cooking. You can use it after cooking too, but I usually use it for cooking, and then butter for afterwards to add to like maybe steamed vegetables, or I'll add olive oil to steamed vegetables. Tahini isn't something that you cook with, but I'll add that as a fat to things afterwards. And sesame oil, you don't want to cook with sesame oil again because it can oxidize really quickly, and it can have more omega-6 fatty acids. So you want to have that afterwards, so if you're going to use it. Flaxseed oil is a great cold one. And why am I forgetting my other ones? And also trying to use things like avocados, right? So just avocado flesh on your salads too is another way you can kind of either coat it, mash it up, and kind of rub your leaves with that, or just add chunks of it. So those are the fats kind of to know when to use for cooking versus for having them as cold. So hot oils versus cold oils. Hope that makes sense. So put any questions in the comments. The last tip I have is to have variety. So variety is the spice of life. And the reason for that is because with different types of fats, you get different nutrients. And you want to have, again, like everything in, I think, our lives, it's nice to have that variety so that we're getting some of those macronutrients like vitamin E. Certain oils are super high in vitamin E. Other ones have maybe more beta vitamins or folic acid in them. And also trying in magnesium. Some of them are just a different little bit of, like, you're just going to get a little bit of from different ones. So it's nice to have that variety. Coconut oil has lauric acid in it, which is also a really important nutrient that's helpful with anti-inflammation. So using the different oils not only gives you more spice in terms of variety and flavor, but it also gives you just the variety of different nutrients and getting those micronutrients that come along with the different types of oils, depending on what they were sourced from. So, for instance, tahini is made up from ground sesames.
Ladies, I apologize for all of the trouble with Facebook Live this morning, and I appreciate those of you that were on, the patience that you had with me doing like 4 different tries. So I'm going to finish up, and I will answer any questions that you put on the comments. I will write those in on the post. I didn't see any more, but if you do have any more questions about fats or about what we went over or what I covered on the different types of fats, I will be happy to answer those. So again, thank you for your patience. And now I'm going to do a little tour behind the scenes. I'm going to do a screen share and walk you through some of the all the elements of the Magic Makers movement, what you get access to, including the Facebook group, the members-only portal where you have the workouts, the recordings from the live trainings, and other resources that you can tap into, log in, and have access to all in one spot. And they're also on the Facebook group, as well as all the videos on my YouTube channel, a special private members-only Magic Makers movie list of all the workouts. So I'm going to take you on that tour now, and thank you again. Please let me know any questions, and remember, the discount ends tonight, midnight, so please sign up if you want to grab that. It's going to be open to the public starting tomorrow until the 12th. Invite your friends, and it's so much fun to be in this group with family members, with your friends. I know that there's quite a lot of already made connections in the group, and then so it's just nice to really build that. There's a mom and daughter, there's friends in Argentina, there's definitely a group there, then they have friends that are connected to other countries in the world. So it's just really fun to go on this journey with those that you love and cherish and do it together. So let me know any questions and I'll be happy to answer them. All right. Hello, ladies. All right, we're going to try it this way. So I'm going to share my screen with you and take you through behind the scenes of the Magic Makers movement. So I'll start here with the members only portal that you can find here on my website in the members only section. And once you sign up, you would get access to this section. It's a login section, and you would get login rights. I would give you the password and everything, and you'll have access to all the videos. The newest videos will be highlighted here each month, and then there's all these different ones that you can go through. Warm-ups, total body workouts, for example, you can check on those. So everything is housed here for your convenience with the workouts, that you can download the PDFs as well for the write-ups of the workouts. And you can also go down here and go and archive the live trainings that we've done. So we do twice a month. We do live trainings in the Facebook group and a Zoom video chat every month. So I put those here, as well as additional resources that I shared just with the ladies in the Magic Makers movement. So these are some of the talks that we had over the last month, going over motivation. Leisure walking was a theme that we had one month, self-care. So we go through those, as well as monthly workout calendars. So similar to, just real quick though, with those trainings, going back to those, with the trainings, we do those twice a month, and they're around whatever theme we have. So each month we have a theme or a challenge. This month we are doing a mini Commit to Fit challenge in the Magic Makers movement. So our goal is to do at least 5 minutes of intentional movement or workout every day for the month of November. And then are also working on gratitude. So thinking about and writing down or even sharing with the group 3 things that we're grateful for every day in the month of November. So that's our challenge for this month, is 3 things of gratitude and a 5-minute Commit to Fit challenge every single day. And so the trainings are going to be around that this month. So in a couple days, I'm going to do a training with the ladies on motivation for the Commit to Fit challenge. And then in a week or 2, we're going to talk about gratitude and how that can help us stick with our goals. You also have access to the Meals and Minutes Guide, which is this huge resource with tons of recipes from the Nutrition No Time Challenge last year, which some of you already have access to. And then we have yoga videos as well. So in addition to being a personal trainer, I'm a yoga teacher and love to do yoga classes with the ladies, either live or to film them and then post them for everyone to have. I even did one in my backyard. And we have total body workouts, lower body, upper body, high intensity, core workouts, transverse abdominal workouts as well, and to help with moms that are healing a separation after having a baby. And then as I was showing you, the monthly workout calendar. So just a suggested calendar for what to do every day. So if you didn't know what to do today, you could come here and you could click, you can see what workout to do, and then you could go and click on the total body workouts and pull up the August 20-minute circuit with weights, which would be over here. So that's where all of this is housed. You can also find these videos on the Body by Banner Magic Makers playlist. So I'm going to click over here. This is my main page. And then the Magic Makers only have access to these videos. And it's a huge archive. You get 4 new workouts every month. And in addition, I put in the live trainings in here as well, the recordings that go in here. And any live yoga classes that we do together. All of those resources go into here as this archive continues to grow as we add each month 4 new workout videos. So that's another easy place to access all the workout videos. And then in addition, we have, of course, the magic really happens in our closed Facebook group. So this is where we come every day. I have usually a pinned post with kind of the schedule for the week and some motivation. And then the ladies are, I had a little quick Facebook Live for the ladies this morning on my walk back from dropping off Oli at preschool. And then this is where you can find as well videos, the Facebook Lives that I do for the trainings, any little check-ins that people want to do on their form, any motivation that I want to give you guys. I often will jump on the video and do that quickly on video versus maybe typing up sometimes. And then just fun little insights and pictures into our lives and little sharing that we do, which are really fun in building the community. As well as files, you can find all of the workout PDFs here, as well as other resources, including the transverse abdominal resource guide and exercises, and the workout calendars are also in here. So lots of good stuff in here. And what else? I send out emails every month. I've got 2 to 3 emails, so I don't overload you guys with emails, but definitely like to summarize everything at the beginning of each month and send links to everything so you have everything you need to get started right there at the beginning of each month, all the PDFs, all the workout videos that you need that are new for that month, as well as a workout calendar. And then as well as some motivation and some follow-up from the trainings to get you guys going through the month on whatever theme we're working on. So that's that behind the scenes. If you have any questions, of course, shoot them my way. Again, registration closes at midnight tonight, so please sign up if you want to grab that discount of 20% off. Okay, guys, see you soon. Bye.